Live and loud with a little echo, but that's all right. Now it's gone. Hello, everybody. Sean Brace and John Jansen. Daily Ticket with you here on a Thursday. A lot going on in the world of sports. Crown them, John Jansen. The Boston Celtics are about to sweep the Dallas Mavericks for the 2023-24 NBA Finals.
Yes, they are. And is anyone defending Luka? Because I saw the whole Windhorse thing, and I saw some people defending Luka. It's like, oh, the rest of his team sucks. Oh, the rest of his team played pretty well. It's him. He's getting cooked. He's the reason why he got fouled out with 4 minutes to go. Sean, if LeBron James got fouled out with 4 minutes left, we'll be going, what the heck are you doing, dude? What are you doing? Yeah. Your team needs you. Why are you taking dumb fouls? Why are you out of position so often? If he was a decent defender, even tried a little bit defending, he wouldn't have had all those fouls. He wouldn't have fouled out. So, yes, that's a big problem. They could have probably won that game if he didn't foul out. And they could have won that game, had at least some chance in game number 4 to tie this series up. Instead, they're down 3-0, and they're going to lose this series. All because this guy couldn't stay on the floor. That's his problem. That's his issue.
Well, it's a 7-game series, and we've been through 3 of them. Everybody has plenty of time to look themselves in the mirror from Dallas's perspective. Kyrie didn't do anything in the first.
Right, Kyrie, the first 2 games has to look himself in the mirror.
Yeah. Luka didn't play well. He obviously has some temper tantrum issues that he needs to get out of his system. He's 25, but he's been in the league for a little while now, and he's playing at that level, and he'll learn from it. He will definitely learn from it. Scored 27 last night. He was 11 of 27. He was 1 from 7 downtown. He was terrible. It was not a good Luka performance and ultimately it was a do or die spot because they could not afford to go down 3 games to none, and they did exactly that. Now, also,
he's not a good defender, but being a lazy defender, though, one.
There was multiple times down the stretch in the second half that he would pull up and then try and flop, get the call, not get the call, be yelling at the ref, and then, oh, by the way, Jaylen Brown passes to Tatum. Tatum lays it in. Like, that happened multiple times in the second half, and that's not excusable. Like, that's you cannot do that, or inexcusable. It's not excusable. Inexcusable. That's inexcusable.
Yeah, inexcusable.
Yeah, excusable didn't make sense there, but it's inexcusable. And but like I said, to me, I get it. Like, we turn these microphones on and we want to wax about what took place last night. That's immediately where our mind goes. But let's not forget about the fact that they were down. That third quarter was just all Boston Celtics. They looked like the Harlem Globetrotters out there. I think they outscored Dallas off top by 35-19. That was the difference in the game. I know Dallas went on this ungodly 18-22, 20-2 run to get back into it. Ultimately cut it down to 2 points, 3 points, somewhere around there.
Yeah, it was a 2 3-point game. Yeah.
So yes, at that point in time, that game is winnable. I just never thought that Boston was going to lose.
And then he fouled out. Like, you had a game winnable. Yeah, they were going to lose when Luka was out because they're minus 12 when he's not on the floor in that game. And Doris Burke did a great job of pointing that out. Once he fouled out, she's like, yeah, they're minus 12 without Luka on the floor in this game. And I'm sure throughout the entire postseason, throughout the entire regular
season, winning. They were winning that game.
They were winning. Boston was on their heels. They could not stop them. There was no chance. And Dallas even still played pretty well in the final couple of minutes, or at least a couple of minutes after that, to continue to stay in that game. Luka would have won them that game. Luka was one of the reasons why they went on this 18-something run and was able to get within 2. Luka was out.
He was 11 for 27. He has been atrocious in the final few minutes of the fourth quarter. Hell, in the fourth quarter in general, in the first 2 games. He's gassed. He's out. He's not conditioned right now for this moment.
They have a much better chance with their best player on the floor, though.
I will agree with that, but I still not come off the step that they were going to win the game.
I think the thing you're arguing may be correct in that Boston's just too good for everyone.
Yes,
Boston's just overwhelmingly good. And no matter what they do, it really doesn't matter. I'm seeing Knicks fans. Have you been seeing Knicks fans delusionally go, well, a healthy Knicks would have given them the best series. No, they wouldn't have. They wouldn't have won a game. They wouldn't have won a single game. Boston has lost 2 games this entire postseason. 2.
Yeah, I think that's what we have to come to grips with. Like, I would love to sit here and say, Joel
I love to
Embiid
see a healthy Sixer. Yes.
would be able to do some stuff, but that's clearly you can't do that. No, that's Boston was on a different tier all season long. They were the best team in basketball, bar none, and they handled business. They were an underdog. Last time was the fourth time all season they were an underdog.
Wow. All season?
All season. 2 times to Milwaukee, 1 time to Sacramento before Christmas where there were some injuries, and then last night.
Wow.
That's just that's how dominant that they are. That's how dominant they've been. Crown them.
That's crazy.
This is not going back to Boston. The championship trophy's going back, but this is not. This is free money. -110. Take it.
Well, now, I mean, they're going to win a championship. Boston has won essentially this series.
Yeah.
Like now it just comes into my head. I mean, for the next few years, it's not like most of these teams. Like this is different from Milwaukee winning because it was just Giannis and a couple of other pieces like Chris Middleton, but that was really Giannis is going to have to carry them. He did that season. Even Denver has a good team, but it's really all predicated on just Jokic and mainly Jamal Murray. But this is a team that is young everywhere across the board, other than Al Horford, that has continued to make moves over and over and over again to bolster that roster, to bolster that depth. I mean, this is the closest I think I felt to feeling like a team could be another dynasty like Golden State was. Boston just needed to see one go through. They needed to see one go through, and now they're set up with a bunch of young players that have seen one, that have that ring now, and they are set up, I think, more than any other team since Golden State to be able to sustain that success in the multiple championships.
Yeah, I think. Look, I'm not gonna argue. They clearly have been a step above everybody in the East. I know that they slipped up last year against the Miami Heat, but I'm with you. I think, John, we were saying the same stuff though about the Denver Nuggets last year.
We were
right. It's a long season and crazy things happen, and but at this point in time, DraftKings has them listed as the favorite for next year, plus 280. Denver 7-1. Yeah. DraftKings don't mess around. Best of the business. Brace your promo code.
They don't. Good Lord.
No. Yes, we're up. Sixers. The Sixers are 12-1 next year. There you go. I'd avoid that one.
I'd avoid that.
Look.
What would the number be now? Because we've gone through this over and over with the Sixers. I mean, what would the number be for you to think, well, maybe if there was a shot, do it? But they've been 12-1. It feels like for the past 5 years, and they haven't done anything. They haven't got past the second round. So why would you light your money on fire at 12-1 for a team that has been doing that for you for the past few years? It has to be like 18-1 or 19-1 for me to even think about it.
Yeah, I got to be in the 20s. If I'm putting money up for the Sixers to win an NBA Finals, look, 25-1. That's where they should be. But they're not. They're at 12-1. Nothing has changed. Everything has been consistent. And, Joel Embiid, what he brings to the table, can he stay healthy?
That's the kind of consistency I wanted from the Sixers. But you're right. That's consistency.
So they should not be 12-1 right now. But if people are going to put, for instance, the Clippers are 18-1. The Warriors are 18-1. The Phoenix Suns are 22-1 right now. Memphis Grizzlies 28-1. Miami Heat 30-1. Pacers 40-1. There's your number. The Pacers.
The Pacers do this offseason.
Well,
it felt like they got a few moves this past offseason too.
Yeah, Siakam's got to be locked in, and I don't think that contract. That contract is still in the air. So they have to figure out what they're going to do with him. And obviously they made the move, so they're probably not going to let him go.
Especially because it seemed like the move worked. Everything they got to an Eastern Conference final. I would have to say it worked to the degree of putting up the money to get him.
Absolutely. If you can get past, and Siakam impressed me a lot. He'd be one of the bigger players that I would say from this playoff run that really opened my eyes. I'd say Siakam, because I didn't think he had that mid-range game, and that was really successful. They were falling for him and throughout the course of the playoffs. So, and it opens things up. If you can get a big man that can knock those down, look at Porzingis. The difference that those guys make.
Huge difference.
Look, the only thing I want to move on because there's a lot to get to. The only thing I would add is for the people, for some odd reason, Sixers fans were catching strays, and that's fine. That's all well and good. But for these people to talk about Drew Holiday, like oh my goodness, if the Sixers hung on to him and got a couple more pieces, they would have been better off than what they did to get Joel Embiid. And look, I was no fan of the process. I was a fan of the fruits of the labor. Of course, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, so on and so forth, all the picks. But I hated those 3 seasons of consistently losing on purpose. I would just say Drew Holiday went on and played really well with New Orleans, ended up with Milwaukee with the best player in the game, hands down, with Giannis. Oh, by the way, great lineup. They went up against the Phoenix Sun team that they beat 4-2. I'm not going to take anything away from their opponents that year, but bottom line is when you're teamed up with the best player in basketball from start to damn finish of the playoffs, most of the time when you got the best player on the floor, you're going to win those games. Look at Jaylen Brown. Well, Luka's the best player on the floor, so that's a bad example.
I mean, Drew Holiday's good, but you're right. Drew Holiday's not like this amazing piece that the Sixers should have held on to for years and years and years. Again, a good piece to have. He's a player that you would look into getting now, but yeah, at the time, it's completely fine to do that. What does end up happening is, the process turns into you get these number 1 overall picks and you have all these draft picks, but like the end of it had to be get the best players. And I know like this is a bit of that's like revisionist history, at least with the Ben Simmons thing, because Ben Simmons was at that point a consensus, like slam dunk, number 1 overall pick, like potentially future Hall of Famer. Like that's the kind of player we're talking about him as a prospect, but that's where that fails is it doesn't matter. Like a team like Boston that still has good process that can find a player like Jaylen Brown, that can find a player like Jason Tatum and lock in on certain guys that they like without tanking and without making your franchise. I mean, look, it made the Sixers franchise a loser, and they really had to dig themselves out of that. And it took a lot to do it. It took a player with the caliber of play that Joel Embiid had to do it. But that was always the part of the process that was always going to be a big hurdle to get over is you just don't know what those number 1 overall picks are going to be like. And you're spending so much time trying to get those. Are they ever going to pan out? And then you look at a draft like they had back to back. And the answer is no, because now Boston has the 2 players who have been championship material that are going to win Boston a postseason, while the Sixers 2 players that they drafted are one's in Orlando doing okay, I think, as a bench player, and the other one has barely played, and he's in the gym again showing us great Instagram videos, so good for him. But, I mean, that's the difference. That was always going to be a part of the process that was just a crapshoot. That part of it was always going to be an issue, and the Sixers just never figured that out.
So these people that want to take shots and all that, that's fine. It's all well and good. I'm cracking up over it, but let's keep it moving. Drew Holiday, fantastic career. I loved Drew when he was
that
here.
One I didn't see. That one's weird. We don't need the stuff up.
I loved Drew. I remember partying when Drew made an All-Star, and Iggy, we were on the air when Iggy got selected. That was a huge deal when he became an All-Star. Those were like 2 wins out of nowhere for this franchise that was just oof, we were putrid in those days. Yeah. But that's when Bynum happened. Bynum really changed everything. That was they first of all traded Iggy in that trade, if I'm not mistaken. There was a first-round pick, if not more, in that given up. I just remember Doug Collins going for it, right? Didn't Doug Collins do something, traded a bunch of pieces to get some players in? And then that's when everything changed with Bynum. Nothing happened. He didn't play. And the franchise said enough is enough. Let's try something different. They went drastic, brought Hanky in. Hanky had to get rid of everybody. Drew was a big-time piece and the whole start of it. And like I said, Drew.
Do you want the players that the Sixers gave up for Bynum?
Yeah, Drew Holiday is not going to last on one team for his whole career. So it's just a dumb conversation. But go ahead.
Yeah, but that Bynum trade was Iguodala, Mo Harkless, Nikola Vucevic, and a protected first-round pick.
Mo Harkless and Vooch. There you go. I actually like those picks. Mo went to St. John's. Vooch went to USC. I talked myself into both of those players. Obviously, Vooch had a good career. Harkless, not so much. But look, I had no issue after 3 seasons. You show me what Sam Hinkie and Colangelo and the Sixers as a totality brought to the table. And they went about it drastically different than how a lot of us would have done, but it worked. It brought Joel Embiid, who is, when he's healthy, the best player in the game. And you weren't getting that. Like, they were unable to get high price free agents regardless. Like even if you had top dollar, the best player was not coming to Philadelphia. We settled on Elton Brand as a player. Like that's the type of player that you're going to get, and just wasn't good enough, man. It wasn't good enough. So, you got Joel Embiid. You have to appreciate that as a Sixers fan.
Right.
Anyways,
Well, you got to appreciate how much of a talent he was. But it's the same thing as like the idea of star hunting and like tanking to get all this money for star hunting and bringing all these star players in. The idea of just building a good team. Boston had the idea of building a good team. They didn't want to tank. They didn't need the number 1 overall pick for it. They just trusted their ideas of what a good player was. And the Sixers, like, they came away with the better players in both drafts, consensus wise. But that's the thing is, you're just getting the Ben Simmons, the star, the consensus number 1 overall pick, and they got a championship player. Like it's, I don't know, you're trying to dig for, again, the star hunting. It's another version of star hunting when you get the number 1 overall pick. And it's just, it didn't work. It really, no. I don't know that idea. And look, that idea wasn't just the Sixers problem. I think many of teams have found out like, hey, this star hunting thing has just been kind of a crapshoot and it's not really working. And it's just really like damaging a lot of franchises mostly.
That's why I got to go get Bronny James and bring LeBron to town. That's
why you need Bronny. That's what you need. That's good team building, right?
We'll see what they do in the draft. I don't know what the plan is. I know we're going to be talking a ton about it. Hey, Summer League right around the corner, so looking forward to that. But
we talk about football never ending. Does basketball ever end?
Yeah, tell me about it. We will crown a champion. Is that game on what, Saturday night? Is that when that is? The next one?
I guess.
It's tomorrow. It's Friday. It's Friday. Okay, so Friday we got game 4 tomorrow night at least, so that's good. Mavericks are a point favorite. I don't see this going back to Boston. We'll see. Luka, you got to expect a monster performance from Luka, but even that, I don't think it's going to be enough. You got crazy production from both of those guys, albeit bad game for Luka, but 27 points. And, of course, Kyrie goes off, but it still was nowhere near what they needed to do. So, anyways, looking forward to putting a bow on the season and crowning a champion, the Boston Celtics. All right, let's move on from that, and let's get on over to the U.S. Open. And it's pretty surprising, man. First of all, a beautiful track down there at Pinehurst, number 2, with some of the numbers being tossed out. I didn't think we were going to see many people under par, but
I didn't think we were going to see 5 under. I did not think we were going to see anything close to that today.
No, and look, it could very well turn over the weekend. So then all of a sudden, some of these golfers come back down to earth, and we only end up with 5 or 6 golfers as far as under par is concerned. But right now, 5 under, Patrick Cantley in the clubhouse, 65. Aberg, I believe is how you say it. The young gun, he was in the running, I want to say, for Masters, or was it the
one of them?
It wasn't the PGA, so it was the Masters. I believe it was the Masters. Anyways, and then the Frenchman, which I don't know much about, Pavon, I believe is how you say his name. He's in there at 3 under. Tony Finau, where you be now, 68. Rory, 2 under through 6. Yeah, look at that.
And now he's a top, close to the top of the leaderboard. Good for him.
The ultimate mulligan, baby. Sergio Garcia with a 69, and Sergio's story is crazy. For the people that don't know about what he's been through, read up on his story to get to this point, back in competing for U.S. Open. Yeah. Tommy Fleetwood, Joe Tanzi's boy, he's 1 under through 6. Bryson, I'm Team Bryson. He's my guy this weekend. Rolled with him for round 1, 2. He's 1 under. A lot of golfers got off late. We got a lot of golfers in the clubhouse at even or 1 under. But yeah, a lot of scores under par, which is somewhat surprising. Again, way too early to celebrate and this is how it's gonna play out for the weekend. But for opening day, pretty surprising.
Yeah, very surprising. I didn't think we were gonna see multiple under par numbers in round 1. But the thing is, as you just mentioned, after we get about another round of this, like about through 72 holes, I imagine this course is going to eat these guys up at some point as well.
Yeah. Tiger Woods with a 74, and that was the same score that Dustin Johnson put in there as well. So Hideki Matsuyama, he was 1 under one over, I think 3-5. So long way to go, but really entertaining, beautiful down there. And YouTube TV doing a bang up job with the 4 screens and following a bunch of golfers. Really, really, really raised their coverage up. So I'm pretty excited about that. All right. And then finally, the Stanley Cup Finals return to action this evening, John Jansen. It's been disappointing to say the least from Edmonton, and I have a plus 220 Edmonton championship Stanley Cup final ticket. That they're down 0-2 at this point in time, but it's going home to Edmonton. They're very capable of winning 2 straight, but man, Florida's defense is no joke. Minus 135 on DraftKings tonight. Edmonton at home, 8:20 p.m. plus 114 for the Florida Panthers. Them Rats with the 2-0 lead. Where are you going tonight, John Jansen?
I mean, I want to go with the hot goaltending and hot defense. You know, I think Florida can steal one on the road, and they've been a really great team all postseason long, all regular season long. This was a team coming into this series, you know, we thought had a chance to finish this in maybe games 5 or 6. So to see this isn't all that surprising. Obviously, it's different when Edmonton's now at home. But yeah, I just want to stick with the hot goaltending and hot defense with Florida. I really think they can steal one.
All right. I'm going to roll with Edmonton. We're going head to head tonight. Let's get a series out of one of these finals. All right.
Is that what you want? Something, some action,
yeah, exactly.
something fun, please.
Jay Jansen 34. Be sure to give him a follow. Hey, just to let you know, coming up next, Joe Tanzi will be talking all things Euros. The Euros are on our airwaves 3 p.m. tomorrow, or on iHeartRadio. You'll be able to catch some of the games.
And also, I am recording a line change tomorrow, and a pretty fun one, because our good friend of the program, Jason Finelli, tried out some NCAA football for GameSpot. So we're going to be talking some NCAA and his thoughts on what he saw. Are you excited? Are you going to get it?
I don't have a PlayStation 5. It's not
get an Xbox Series S. Get the cheap one. Are you not an Xbox guy?
You're just broke. No, I've never been an Xbox guy. I'm PlayStation. Yeah. All right. Joe Tanzi covering all things Euros is next. Hey, tomorrow starting at 3:00, back-to-back episodes, all things college football. Now is the time to catch up on your college football consumption. We got realignment. We got transfer portals. We got quarterbacks in new spots. We got difference makers all over the country in new surroundings on new teams. So trust me, you don't want to miss it. Beef, Mark Henry Jr., Joe Tanzi, myself is starting at 3 p.m. tomorrow, 4 p.m. all things SEC. So make sure you catch that. John Jansen, I'm Sean Brace. Everybody enjoy the rest of your day. We'll talk to you.